Good morning. So we were discussing electrolysis, okay, and electrolysis of water we have discussed. Now take example of electrolysis of common salt NaCl. So it is electrolysis of NaCl, okay. What is electrolysis? I have told you electrolysis is simply the decomposition occurred, okay, when electricity is passed through an electrolyte, okay. So for electrolysis of NaCl we have discussed electrolysis in detail, okay. So simply we will be discussing electrolysis of NaCl briefly, okay. So we know for electrolysis to take place we need electrolytic chamber. So this is electrolytic chamber. Okay, this is electrolytic chamber. Then two electrodes are required. Say this one is electrolytic chamber. Electrodes are these are two electrodes. Say this is anode, say this is cathode, okay. So anode is positive, we know, and cathode is negative. So right here negative and right here positive. Then connect these two anodes through a battery as we learned in electrolysis of water, okay. It is a bulb. We are going to perform electrolysis of NaCl. So the electrolyte here is NaCl, here it is NaCl is kept, and I have told you earlier NaCl is ionic solid. NaCl is ionic solid, and ionic solids are bad conductor of electricity. Ionic solids are bad conductor of electricity in solid state. Got it? But in aqueous or molten state, ionic solids are good conductor. Good conductor, okay. So NaCl is solid. NaCl is solid, okay. So if it is solid, then it will be a bad conductor of electricity, okay. So to make it a good conductor of electricity, okay, we need to make it aqueous or molten. So there are two ways to perform electrolysis of NaCl. First way, simply add some water into it, okay. Water will make it aqueous. Or second way is heat this NaCl, then NaCl will be melted into into means molten, it will be converted into molten state. So I am going to dissolve it in water, means take some water here. So take some water here. So here it is water plus NaCl. Got it? As you will dissolve NaCl in water, NaCl will be converted into aqueous state. Okay, and the interionic here, the interionic distance will be increased, and now it will behave as a conductor. Okay, so mix some water with it. Okay, so here it is water plus NaCl is present. Now this NaCl will ionize. This NaCl will ionize. This is written aqueous because water is mixed with this. Okay, so NaCl will be ionized into Na plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. Got it? NaCl will be ionized into Na plus and Cl minus. Okay, and water H2O, we have learned H2O gets ionized into H plus and OH minus. It is, I told you, self ionization of water. It is self ionization of water. Okay, so we have cations and anions. We have cations and anions. So what are cations? Cations, I have told you, positive charge. So cations here are Na plus positive charge, H plus positive charge. So it is Na plus and H. Anions we have, anions are negative charge. Anions we have Cl minus and OH minus. Got it? Okay, so we are having four things. One is Na plus H. Okay, Na plus is positive, cathode is negative, so it will be attracted towards cathode. H plus is positive, cathode is negative, so it will be attracted towards cathode. Cl minus is negative, anode is positive, so it will be attracted towards anode. OH minus is negative and anode is positive, so it will be attracted towards anode. Got it? So we have two things, anode and cathode. We have two things, anode and cathode. So we will be writing at anode, reaction at anode and reaction at cathode. So right here, at anode and at cathode. Okay, at anode we have discussed OH minus and Cl minus will be there. OH minus and Cl minus is there. Okay, and at cathode H plus and Na plus are there. Okay, then I told you about discharging. Okay, discharging is simply, if it is cation, then it want to be converted into an atom, and if it is anion, then it want to convert into its atom. Means discharging is simply, if it is having more electrons, then it will release the electron. If it is having less electron, then it will accept electron. Okay, and discharging, I told you here OH minus and Cl minus both are in race to discharge. again here H plus and Na plus both are in race, okay, to discharge first. Okay, but what happens, Cl minus have lower discharge potential. Cl minus have lower discharge potential. So if Cl minus have lower discharge potential, then what will happen, Cl minus will discharge, okay, Cl minus will discharge and it will become Cl by releasing one electron. Got it? Now it is discharged. Same thing is happening here, okay, means at cathode H plus and Na plus both are in the race to discharge, but this H plus have lower discharge potential, have lower discharge potential. So what will happen, this H plus ion will discharge first. How? H plus means it is lacking one electron, so it will accept the electron which has been released by chlorine minus during its discharging. So it will accept this electron, okay, and give hydrogen. Got it? Some more hydrogen will be discharged, so hydrogen plus hydrogen will become hydrogen gas. Okay, and here some more chlorine is being discharged, so Cl plus Cl, it will become Cl2 gas. So what we can conclude, during electrolysis of NaCl in presence of water, okay, at anode chlorine gas forms, at anode Cl2 gas is formed, and at cathode hydrogen gas is formed. Here it is H2 gas. Got it? And this Na, this Na and this OH, okay, which have not been discharged, combine together to form NaOH. Okay, got it? So what is the product formed? NaOH, caustic soda, it is known as caustic soda, okay, it will be formed, okay, and at anode Cl2 gas will be formed, at cathode hydrogen gas will be formed. So this is electrolysis of NaCl. Okay, now we will be discussing decomposition carried out by sunlight. Okay, so our next topic is it is photo decomposition. What is photo decomposition? The decomposition which is carried out by the sunlight. Okay, now take some example of photo decomposition. It is AgCl, okay, silver chloride. AgCl when exposed to sunlight, AgCl when exposed to sunlight, it decomposes into Ag and Cl2. Write the reaction. AgCl. Okay. AgCl is white in color. So AgCl in presence of sunlight, okay, decomposes into Ag plus Cl2. Okay, I'll write this. Okay, this is gas, this is solid. Okay, you can write by your own. Okay, so this Ag is grayish white in color, and this Cl2 is yellowish green. Okay, so AgCl when exposed to sunlight, it decomposes into Ag and Cl. It is AgCl, and you can perform it by your own. Okay, simply take some AgCl powder, okay, and it is white. Keep it in sunlight for some time. Okay, then it will be converted into Ag and Cl2. How will you come to know? Simply you will see the color was initially white and now it is turning out into grayish white. So if change in color will take place, okay, then you can be sure that it is getting decomposed in the presence of sunlight. One important thing regarding this reaction is this reaction is used in black and white photography. Black and white photography. Got it? Okay, take some more example. AgBr also shows photo decomposition. Okay, silver bromide, AgBr, color of AgBr is white, we have discussed. Okay, when it is exposed to sunlight, then it decomposes into Ag plus bromine gas, Br2. Okay, sorry, it is AgBr now. It is pale yellow in color. Pale yellow. I thought it to be AgCl. Okay, AgBr is pale yellow in color. This Ag we have discussed is grayish white. And this Br2 is red brown in color. Got it? So AgBr also shows photo decomposition, means it also gets decomposed in presence of sunlight into Ag and Br2, and you have to remember this color for these two reactions. Okay, and also this reaction is used in the black and white photography. Okay, so we will say this reaction is also used, or also this reaction is right here. Okay, this reaction is also used in black and white photography. Okay, now there are some basic uses of decomposition reaction in our daily life. Okay, for example, in our stomach, okay, during digestion decomposition reaction takes place. Okay, decomposition reaction takes place, means starch carbohydrate which are complex in nature, okay, gets decomposed into simpler carbohydrates like glucose and sugar, okay. Then decomposition is also we say electrolysis is a type of decomposition, okay. So electrolysis is also used in the extraction of metals, from their ores, okay. So there are some basic usage of this, okay. Now we are going to discuss displacement reaction, okay. And you have to remember one thing, please stop calling me a careless, okay, zebra. Instead, try learning please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. How copper saves gold, okay. Is it clear? Okay, yeah, it can be seen, okay. So please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. What is this? This is reactivity series of elements, okay. This is reactivity series. Okay, this is a trick I am giving you, and by this trick you can remember reactivity series, okay, in their increasing or decreasing order, okay. So what does this mean? What does this stands for? Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Here, please stands for potassium. Okay. Then sodium. Then calcium. Then magnesium. Then aluminium. Then it is carbon. Then it is zinc. Then it is iron. Then it is tin. Then it is lead. Then hydrogen. Then copper. Then it is silver. Then it is gold. Got it? Okay. Please, means P stands for potassium. Okay. This S stands for sodium. C A stands for calcium. M stands for magnesium. A stands for aluminium. Okay. And in this way, the elements are potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, carbon, zinc, iron, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver and gold. Okay. And symbols, you know, potassium is K, sodium is Na, calcium is Ca, magnesium is Mg, aluminium is Al, carbon is C, then zinc is Zn, iron is Fe, tin is Sn, lead is Pb, hydrogen H, copper Cu, silver Ag, and gold it is Au. Got it? And this is the decreasing order of reactivity. Means if you are coming from top to bottom, then from top to bottom this gives decreasing order of reactivity. Okay, if you will, or if you are going from bottom to the top, then it is the increasing order of reactivity. Then it is giving you increasing order of reactivity. Got it? It means what? Potassium is the most reactive element. It means what? Potassium is the most reactive element. In this series, potassium is the most reactive element, followed by sodium. Means first one is potassium, then sodium, then calcium, magnesium, aluminum, carbon, okay, and so on. So if you will be asked in between magnesium and zinc, okay, which one is more reactive? So magnesium is placed above the zinc, so we will say magnesium is more reactive than zinc. Okay, got it? So how to remember this? You have to remember this. Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead try learning how copper saves gold. Okay, then you will automatically learn the order of reactivity of these elements. Okay, now we are going to discuss displacement reaction. Okay, so put heading displacement reaction. What is displacement reaction? Simply the type of reaction, the type of chemical reaction in which an element is displaced. Okay, the type of chemical reaction in which, say, one element is displaced by other element in a compound. Got it? For example, it is copper sulfate. It is copper sulfate. Okay, and when you will react this copper sulfate with iron. Okay, now the series which I gave you, okay, reactivity series. Okay, now we have to simply use that reactivity series, okay, during this displacement reaction. Means what? I told you copper was placed below, then iron. Getting me? Means iron was placed above the copper. and I told you if you are coming from top to bottom, then reactivity is decreasing, means this iron is more reactive and this copper is less reactive. Got it? So the more reactive element will displace the less reactive element, okay, from the compound. So because this Fe is more reactive, why Fe is more reactive? Because it is placed above copper in the reactivity series, and copper is less reactive. So what will happen? Iron will take place of copper and displace it, means it will form FeSO4 and copper will be out. So we can say displacement is taking place. Fe is displacing copper. Why Fe is displacing copper? Because Fe is more reactive than copper. It is more strong than this copper. Okay. We can take some more example. Plus, say it is magnesium. Again, try to remember the series, the reactivity series. Magnesium was placed, okay, above or we say in top of the reactivity series, while copper was placed means bottom of the reactivity series, means magnesium is more reactive. Magnesium will displace copper and form MgSO4 plus copper will be out. Got it? Very simple. Simply you have to learn or you have to remember the reactivity series of elements which I given you, and I gave you one trick to remember it. Okay, then simply check which element is more reactive, and the element which is more reactive will take place, okay, will substitute that element which is less reactive. Okay, now if it is copper sulfate, let's say it is iron sulfate, FeSO4, okay, FeSO4 plus copper, what will be the product formed? What will be the product formed? Can you guess? Copper is placed below iron, so it is less reactive. Iron is placed above copper in reactivity series, so it is more reactive. So this time a less reactive element is trying to displace a more reactive element, but is this possible? Not at all. Okay, because it is less reactive, and a less reactive element cannot displace a more reactive element. So we will say can't displace. ठीक है, copper can't displace iron. Copper can't displace iron. So we will say no reaction will take place. Got it? Okay, very simple concept is there. If there is one more reactive element, then it will displace the less reactive element. Otherwise, the reaction will not proceed. Okay. Now it is, take more example. Copper chloride plus lead Okay, again this time lead is more reactive than copper. So what will happen, this lead is going to displace the copper, and the reaction will be like PbCl2 plus copper. Got it? So this is all about displacement reaction. Okay, now come to double displacement reaction. What is double displacement reaction? Okay, simply the type of reaction in which exchange of ion takes place, What does this mean? Exchange of ions takes place. Okay. Take one example, NaOH plus HCl. Okay. This is aqueous. Here means NaOH and HCl both are aqueous solution here. You have to remember this, aqueous. Okay. So this NaOH, when mixed with water, gets ionized into Na plus and OH minus. Okay. And again, when this HCl is made aqueous, okay, means dissolved in water, it again ionizes into H plus and Cl minus. Now what happens? Exchange of ion takes place. How? This positive Na plus gets combined with this negative Cl minus. Okay. Minus plus minus, there is attraction, so Na plus gets attracted towards Cl minus and forms NaCl, and this OH minus gets attracted towards H plus, minus plus, attraction will be there, and it forms H plus OH minus means H2O. Got it? So clearly we can see exchange of ions are taking place, means Na plus is exchanging, means here position of Na plus and OH minus both are changing. Initially it was NaOH, means Na plus was added with OH minus. Now what happens? Na plus and Cl minus is adding up, means exchange of ion is taking place. Na plus and Cl minus gets combined and H plus and OH minus gets combined to form water. Okay, so we say this is example of double decomposition reaction. So what is double decomposition reaction? Displacement is taking 2 times. Double means twice. So displacement is taking 2 times. Okay, how? Here this Na is displacing H from HCl. Okay, and we say this H, this Cl is displacing OH from Na. So double displacement is taking place. That's why it is known as double displacement reaction. And in double displacement reaction, what happens? Exchange of ions takes place. Okay, we will be discussing some more examples of double decomposition reaction in our next class. Okay, thank you.